Touchdown, Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, come see how we rock this. Alabama fans the best, there's no way you can top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome into The Process, Crimson Tide Recruiting. I'm your host, Justin Smith, scouting and recruiting analyst, Touchdown, Alabama. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe button, subscribers. Hit the notification bell to be notified when we drop content on our YouTube channel. I'm here each week to break down the latest in Crimson Tide football recruiting news. And on today's episode, I want to talk about a couple of things. Talk about how Alabama losing to LSU will impact its recruiting efforts, although I feel it will not. And I think we're looking at the recruiting efforts of the Crimson Tide in terms of a lot of talk going around saying, yo, it's a dynasty over, and Alabama looks to be trending downward. But with the way that Alabama has recruited and the success that they've had on the recruiting trail, it's hard for me to say that the dynasty is over. I don't think the dynasty will be officially over or show any signs of being over until Alabama is unable to recruit some of the top players in the country, and they've done a good job so far in the 2023 class. So I will talk about some guys who are verbally committed to the Crimson Tide who other teams are trying to take away from the Tide. I'll also have an interview with the Crimson Tide's 5-star defensive back commit Jahlil Hurley, get his thoughts on Alabama's performance this season and just how he feels heading to his enrollment at the University of Alabama during the month of January, as he will be an early enrollee for the Crimson Tide. I will also talk about a top Crimson Tide target announcing a top school list, and he is a guy who showed the Crimson Tide some love after they lost to the Crimson Tide. And I'm talking about Jordan Hall, a 2023 4-star defensive lineman out of Florida. He's a guy who's a big, massive defensive lineman at 6'4" and 300 pounds. And he's a guy who possesses some physicality, meanness, a guy who has some finesse to his game as well. I feel like, as you guys can see, he's showing a great burst off the line of scrimmage, but like I said, great size. He looks like a physical kid, and we all know that the defensive line group has been important for Alabama over the last couple of recruiting classes, and they have to continue to recruit some top level guys and develop these guys to make some noise consistently inside the interior of their defensive line. So Jordan Hall is one of the guys that they really like. Recently hosted him for an official visit. Like I said, after the Crimson Tide were defeated by the LSU Tigers, he did show the Crimson Tide some love, although he did delete the post soon after because a lot of guys don't want to give any insight into their recruitment, don't want to show any team love and let people see it. But he did see it. He did let people see it before he deleted that Twitter post. But it currently has a top 5 inside Jordan Hall's top 5. He has Ohio State, Alabama, LSU, Florida, and Georgia. So he has some heavy hitters. We're going to talk about the Bulldogs, the Buckeyes, and the Crimson Tide, and the LSU Tigers, who the Crimson Tide were defeated by on Saturday. So we can take a look at Hall's recruitment with National Signing Day officially a month or so away. He's a guy to keep your eyes on in terms of the Crimson Tide continuing to try to close out their 2023 recruiting class with some top ranked recruits. Again, Hall, 4-star defensive lineman, 6'4", 300 pounds, a physical defensive lineman, a guy who the Crimson Tide really like here in this 2023 recruiting class. I also wanted to discuss on this episode of The Process, the Crimson Tide. A couple of Crimson Tide commits continuing to be recruited by other top schools, and 2 of those guys are Caleb Downs and Justice Haynes. Haynes, of course, attends Bruford High School in Bruford, Georgia. Caleb Downs attends Mill Creek High School in Georgia. Both guys are 5-star recruits, according to Touchdown Alabama. I know that Caleb Downs is pretty much a 5-star recruit wherever you find your recruiting rankings. In my opinion, I think he should be in the conversation to be the best player in the country just based on what I've seen from him as a safety and just as an all-around athlete. But both of these guys are guys who are continuing to be recruited by the Georgia Bulldogs. You knew that was going to happen the day that they verbally committed to the Crimson Tide because they are Georgia prospects, in-state prospects for the Bulldogs, and Justice Haynes in particular, he's a Georgia legacy. His dad is a former running back at the University of Georgia, so you knew that the visits were not going to stop for Haynes. He was in Athens last weekend, along with Caleb Downs. Both were in Athens last weekend when the Georgia Bulldogs defeated the Tennessee Volunteers. And if you are the Bulldogs, you are Kirby Smart. You know what your program is doing. You know you're not going to just give up and let 2 of the state's best go to a rival school inside the SEC. to one of the top programs in the country, you're not going to give up. I know a video recently surfaced where Caleb Downs was leaving the field and Kirby Smart was in attendance, and he gave Kirby Smart a fist bump. So you know that they have a good relationship, and I'm pretty sure Haynes has a lot of respect for the Georgia coaching staff. He talked about that in the past, and I know speaking of his recruitment and his commitment, Alabama, he's always talked about he knows that this is his journey, and his dad knows that this is his journey, and they both feel that he will choose his own journey, and they felt really comfortable with them committing to the Crimson Tide. I feel the Tide are still in a good position at the moment to hold on to Haynes and Downs, but the Bulldogs are not going to fall off. They're not going to stop. They're going to go all out for both of these highly rated recruits. So things could get interesting over the next couple of weeks as the Tide continue to try to hold on to two of their top prospects in the 2023 recruiting class. But going back to the Crimson Tide's loss to LSU, I did want to give you guys some insight into what some recruits are thinking after the Crimson Tide were defeated by the LSU Tigers. I was able to get some thoughts from a couple of Alabama commits after the Crimson Tide were defeated by the Tigers. A lot of those guys were definitely disappointed in the Crimson Tide's effort, and they let that be known. I thought that was very important for them to voice, because of course they are coming to Alabama, and a lot of people are talking about the Alabama standard and everything, and they look from the outside looking in, because they're not officially inside the program yet. They feel that they know that the standard is higher than what Alabama has played at times this season. So that is why I wanted to give you guys some of those guys' thoughts. This first thought comes from 4-star offensive lineman Marquez McElder out of Anderson High School in Anderson, Alabama. He's verbally committed to Crimson Tide at the moment. The first thing he said, he has no thoughts. He was just disappointed in the effort. He said it wasn't Alabama football. That's all he's going to say. But next year, he said you have to wait and see that Alabama is the standard, and next season him in the class of 2023 are after redemption. I also got an opportunity to check in with the Crimson Tide's kicker commit, Connor Talty out of Illinois, who had a lot of respect for Will Reichert. Of course, Reichert was Alabama's only scoring option earlier in that matchup. He really dug into some thoughts, and I always like his thoughts because he always gives me a lot to work with. So here's what Connor Talty had to say. It was really disappointing. I thought we had a good shot at the playoffs, but this game killed our hopes. It didn't seem like an Alabama football team yesterday, if you know what I mean. It was a sloppy game, and it wasn't the first sloppy game this season. The only real positive I can take away from this game is Will Reichert's performance. It's good to see him bounce back strong out of Texas A&M in the Tennessee game. Even though it's been a rough season, it's still Roll Tide, and this recruiting class isn't going anywhere. So the Crimson Tide's 2023 recruiting class seems to be disappointing, in my opinion, based on the effort that they saw from the Crimson Tide's team this past weekend and also previous this season. But I also heard from a lot of these guys that they are pumped to come in and help change things, come in to help reestablish that standard. And that's good for the Crimson Tide to have young guys who want to come in and learn that standard and be that standard. So I think that's a good sign for the Crimson Tide on the recruiting trail. And like I said at the top of the show, I don't think the dynasty is going to show any signs of officially being over until the Crimson Tide are no longer able to recruit guys at this level. Now we have Jahlil Hurley on the line, 5-star defensive back, verbally committed to Alabama in the 2023 recruiting class. Excited to get an opportunity to talk with him once again. How's it going today, Jahlil?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Really good. I just wanted to get on here with you today, man. Talk a little bit about your season. Unfortunately, you guys' season did come to an end last week, but going back, the ups and downs, the journey of your senior season at Florence High School, man. How was your senior season, just looking back at it and those experiences, and what are some areas that you feel you have grown in?
It was great, man. We started off slow, got locked in third game, and we just went up from there. And plays I feel like I got better at is just being mentally ready for that adversity, just being a better vocal leader, because I wasn't really a vocal leader, just being a vocal leader and leading by example for the younger guys so that they would do right when I'm here, and now that I'm not there, they will know what to do right and how to do it right.
Yeah, we got an opportunity to see you early in the season against Bob Jones High School. You were impactful all over the field. And of course, I'm pretty sure that was one of the biggest moments of the season. We got an opportunity to block that game-tying field goal attempt in the end there. But of course, you're verbally committed to Alabama as one of their top commits in the 2023 recruiting class. Just looking at the way that they have played this season, just what are your thoughts? Just looking at it as, I guess, as a fan And just as someone who loves football, man, just what are your thoughts about their performances in the way that they have played this season?
Seeing it from a way that somebody that loves football, it's football, man. We know that you lose some, you win some, but at the end of the day, you got to keep dominating and keep working towards your end goal of that season. So, I think they're still playing hard. They just came up short a couple of times. 5 points, you know what I'm saying? Lost two games by 5 points. They're playing hard, but so you win some, you lose some.
As far as from a secondary perspective, Alabama's secondary, like I said, has had its ups and downs. I've had some really bad moments, but has had some good moments, specifically Eli Rick sliding in there, showing what he is able to do. How excited are you to join that group in the future to show what you can do and show that you can help them continue to be better in the future?
I'm very excited to get down there in less than 2 months, just to help the team out the best way I can and just to do my job.
Yeah, and I know you're going to get an opportunity to work with Nick Saban hands-on because you are projected to be a cornerback, but of course you have versatility. You can play safety, you can play cornerback, you can play all over the secondary at the next level. How excited are you to work hands-on with Nick Saban and get an opportunity to work with arguably the greatest coach of all time?
Very excited. I've had the opportunity to get coached by Coach Saban twice, actually. My sophomore, summer going to my junior year, and then last summer. So it was really good, a really good learning moment for me. And I'm just excited to get down there.
Yeah, Travaris Robinson is another guy that you will work with. Of course, he's one of the newer members of Alabama's coaching staff. How would you describe your relationship with him?
We real tight, man. We talk about it every week. It's real tight. That's my dog, and I can't wait to get down there with him too.
And of course, his class, Caleb Downs, you, Tony Mitchell, Brayson Hubbard, still wants to add on some guys in terms of this defensive back class, but definitely one of the top defensive back class in the nation with you guys coming in together. What are your thoughts about those guys and getting the opportunity to play with them?
Just be on the lookout, man. We coming to work, man.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Jahlil, on The Process. It has been a joy just following your recruitment up until this point, man. Good luck the rest of the way. Enjoy this off time, getting an opportunity to rest and everything, man. You have a great day, and thank you again for joining us.
I appreciate it, man. You too.
And that'll wrap up this episode of The Process. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Before you leave, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, be notified when we drop content on our YouTube channel. Then head over to touchdownalabama.com, pick up your subscription today. With that subscription, you'll be able to read all of our subscriber-only articles. Then head over to the Google Play Store if you have that Android device to download the Touchdown Alabama app. The app is also located in the Google Play Store. As always, I am Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama.